Hey everyone, James from TeaDB here, bringing you another Inbetweenisode. So today I am bringing you a very simple Inbetweenisode, one that I have done a lot less of, and it's just a simple review of a tea. These just tend not to be our most popular episodes, so I was like, alright, well, I guess people don't want them. It's also more stimulating for me to just talk about more general topics rather than just reviewing a tea on the show. Just especially when it's on my own and without Denny. But I was told by some people that they really like these right in between episodes, so going to try to do a couple. And so this one's a really simple one. Finished off a cake of Camphornaught, and I am about to get some tea all over. So you can see this is a White2T tea. I believe it costs $25 for a 200 gram cake, so we're talking about 12 to 13 cents a gram. It is a pretty relatively affordable cake. Most of you know the drill already. This is like steep number 4 or 5, and have been brewing it sort of casually, as I do most ripes throughout the day. So filming this right before lunch, and going to be doing one more steep right here in front of you. For me, ripes are such a casual drink that they're not something that I'm usually going to spend boutique-y type money on. And so the nameless one has actually been featured on a couple episodes. Really nice tea. Probably not going to buy a cake, but really nice tea. And this sort of represents the opposite end of the line. So this has, so I read White2T's description before I decided to record this episode, and he describes smoke and bitterness. Smoke, I'm not getting a whole lot of. Maybe there's hints of that sort of like burley-ish, like resinous character to it, but you know, not a ton for me. And he also describes bitterness. I'm getting a little bit of bitterness. I don't think it's quite even at like the bawang levels, but which is to say that's a very blended cake and not too heavy in like Lauman type material, but it does have a little bit of that. I'd say maybe like half or a third of what that tea cake has. All right, so I made another one right here, but I will say that this definitely, the smell is relatively standard. Sort of qualifies more into like the very burly, hearty ripe, and that's a category that I do tend to like. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like a descendant of sort of like the Lumber Slut, which is still being made, so I guess there must be some differences there, which was one of my favorite White2T sort of cheaper ripe cakes. And I don't know that I like this quite as much as that tea, but it's decent for sure. Texturally, kind of got a pretty basic texture. It doesn't really quite elevate to that sort of like silkiness that you get sometimes from these ripe teas. So here is a heated up infusion. Cheers. So yeah, definitely that strain of bitterness is definitely there, and I'd say the overall profile is sort of a woody, hearty, just very sturdy tea. This is not like a super refined tea. So for me, this tea is kind of like a very easy tea for me to drink in the morning, not think all that much about, and it obviously clearly enough to get through a 200 gram cake pretty easily. Did not take all that long. I mean, these 200 grammers, they go fast when you're drinking it on the daily. So yeah, used about 9 grams of leaf here for this 175 milliliter vessel. And just kind of brew it very casually, dump some water in, brew it for a bit, and then dump it out. Yeah. Sort of has a little bit of that. I don't want to use the word because it's not quite at that level of having that sort of menthol / camphor to it. But even though it's in the name, but it does have hints of that in it. It sort of leaves you feeling like your mouth is a little bit refreshed, so maybe like a little bit of mintiness to it. I mean, for the most part, I'd say like 95% of this, it's just like a pretty straight down the middle ripe, though. All right, well, I think that just about wraps up this in-between-sode. I can't say it's doing a ton of interesting stuff in terms of like aftertaste or aroma or anything like that. It's just mainly a good drinker. So for me, gonna give this tea a 6.1 rating. So pretty middle of the pack for me. Good for the price. Worth trying if you think that profile sounds interesting to you. If you are a fan of Lumber Slut, I do recommend picking this up. Definitely try the Lumber Slut as well. I'd say that one is a little bit more, hits the exact spot for me. So thank you all for tuning in. I will see you all next time.